Well, good morning, friends. 6 a.m. on this Thursday. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Channing Curtis.
And I'm Tim Pham. We're glad you're here with us on this first day of winter. It's not the first full day, but hey, we are one day closer to winter and not really feeling like winter, is it there, Thomas? Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. It's an El Nino winter after all. And yeah, these mild days have been with us for these last, well, pretty much all of this week. I'll tell you, it does make things look beautiful, especially, I know sunrise isn't until what, 7:35 a.m. But at least we can enjoy the Christmas trees all lit up in these dark early morning hours. But our temperatures are above freezing right now. At 34 degrees, we're already above the average high temperature for the day. The average high is 33 in Spokane, but we are dealing with a bit of fog in eastern Washington. From Spokane to Deer Park, that is where the visibilities are at their lowest right now, and we are under dense fog advisories until 11 o'clock this morning, but we are starting to see improvements elsewhere across the inland northwest, most notably in Coeur d'Alene. Between 4 a.m. and now, things have improved significantly in terms of the fog coverage.
Happening today, West Coast Conference officials are set to vote on adding Washington State and Oregon State universities to their schedule for basketball and volleyball for the next 2 years. It's important to note that this vote does not include football or baseball. WSU's football team, of course, still has a deal with the Mountain West Conference for 6 games. CBS Sports reports if the vote goes through, both WSU and OSU will be a part of the WCC only for the next 2 years. This means the schools will compete for WCC championships and can even earn an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. Since the Pac-12 fell apart, WSU and OSU have a 2-year grace period before they have to fully commit to a new conference. So they're using that 2 years to figure things out in hopes of rebuilding the Pac-12. Right now, the baseball teams will be independent. That means all baseball games will be non-conference, and they'll need to be an at-large bid to get into the NCAA tournament. A lot of people see this as a shame because both WSU and OSU have great baseball teams. Also, if the vote is approved, WSU and Gonzaga men's basketball will face each other for the first time since 2015. This is a developing story, and you can count on us to keep you updated on KREM.com.
It is 6:03 right now. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. The former Idaho State trooper accused of murdering his wife 2 years ago is now out of jail. Court records show he posted a $1.5 million bond. In February of 2021, Daniel Howard said his wife, 48-year-old Kennedy Wilkins, shot herself. Detectives say they did not find evidence of a suicide, instead saying it looked more like a homicide. In May, Howard turned himself in. A judge now says prosecutors can ask for the death penalty for Chad Daybell. Police accuse him of murdering his ex-wife and 2 of his current wife's children. Court documents say Daybell's attorneys asked the court to take the death penalty off the table because his wife, Lori Vallow, did not have to face that punishment. They also argued about relative culpability. The judge denied both of those motions. His trial is now set to begin in April in Ada County. Washington State's unemployment rate is now at 4%. That's the highest it's been in the last 5 months. Now, for some context, the national unemployment rate dropped from 3.9% to 3.7%. The Employment Security Department says we also lost about 2,600 jobs here in Washington. And that's a look at your morning rush.
The Colorado Supreme Court banned former President Donald Trump from the state's primary election ballot. They did this with the Constitution's insurrection clause. The state Supreme Court believes what Trump did on January 6th disqualifies him from being president again. However, Trump was never actually charged with insurrection. His lawyers say they will appeal the ruling with the U.S. Supreme Court. The appeal will likely put the Supreme Court at the forefront of the 2024 election.
Will they take it? I think most people would say they almost have to, and they have to move super quickly because Colorado is going to finalize its ballot in about 2 weeks.
Trump's attorneys are also asking the Supreme Court to put off weighing in on federal charges brought by special counsel Jack Smith over the former president's alleged attempts to overturn the 2020 election. And in a rare move, Trump's GOP opponents even speaking out against the decision by Colorado's Supreme Court. So what does Colorado's decision mean for Trump's presidential candidacy beyond their state alone?
Ariane Daytil with our Verified team takes a look.
Former President Donald Trump's name won't be on Colorado's Republican presidential primary ballot in March. The Colorado Supreme Court ruled that his candidacy in the primary was prohibited because of a provision in the 14th Amendment of the Constitution, commonly known as the Insurrection Clause. While this case is expected to eventually reach the U.S. Supreme Court, the ruling currently only impacts the GOP primary in Colorado. But what about the general election? Verify viewer Beth asked if candidates actually need to appear on the ballot in every single state to be elected president. So let's verify using these sources. The President of the United States is chosen by electors through a process called the Electoral College. USA.gov says each state gets as many electors as it has members of Congress. According to the National Archives, there are a total of 538 electors. Whichever candidate wins a state's popular vote gets all the state's Electoral College votes, except in Maine and Nebraska, where candidates receive a portion of the electoral votes based on the result of the popular vote. To be elected president, a candidate must win at least 270 Electoral College votes. Colorado has 10. So, if the courts eventually decide Trump can't be on Colorado's general election ballot, UNC Charlotte political science professor Eric Haberlig says
Donald Trump can be on the ballot in all the other states where they haven't prevented him from being on the ballot,
which would leave 528 electoral votes up for grabs. So we can verify, no, a candidate does not have to appear on all state ballots to be elected president. With your Verify, I'm Adiante Till.